The question is, what is typical wait time for new process development contracts?
Ooh, well, I guess it depends if you're talking the legal process. That I'm not going to comment on because I think it's organization specific, very organization specific. But I think one of the challenges is decisions typically don't get made until the 11th hour, funding becomes available, whatever. And what was a wait and see now becomes we needed it yesterday. So I think a key part of that is front loading all the documentation that would be required, assuming progress and success, and try and have that teed up with the appropriate parties. Define communication channels internally for things to be approved or reviewed, because it makes it much more difficult for your vendor to, I guess, be a time sink when your response time is measured in minutes. And it sets a precedent for expectation from both sides. Certainly that is something that can be helpful, but putting together the RFP and the specificity around that actually can trim down some of these timings because there's fewer review cycles that'll be required to finalize. And plus also encapsulating whatever IP you intend to share would be best served by having it clearly delineated in whatever pre-language you have in your CDAs and master services agreement and whatnot.
Very good, very good.
I had a quick comment on the contracts. So not only do you have to have the master services agreement, but keep in mind you need to do the quality agreement. We usually have the master services agreement done up front. That could take a couple of months at some point. So you already have an approved SOW while you're doing the master services agreement. And usually we want to have the master services agreement prior to any GMP as well as the QA agreement, and anticipate that the bigger companies will take a lot longer for the quality agreements. I strongly recommend that all people have your own template because it's going to be more specific for your needs. And a lot of times the CDMO will have a template and it'll be very much biased towards them. So keep that in mind if you have your own template, and take the time to make sure that you have that up front, and even put it in your RFP that you need to negotiate a quality agreement and MSA. Mm-hmm.
Very good, very good. As someone who worked at a CDMO, we had a pretty good template, Kim. I think it worked pretty well too. So there's a little bit on that side as well. I'll agree 100% that the MSA and the legal contracts seem to get done, even though legal is very difficult, quicker than the quality agreements. And so you need to get started on that immediately.